Hey there, this is Santino Pino, and we've got another Federal Bureau of Prisons article. But this time, if you're subscribed, you saw the kind of crazy article we saw yesterday that came from an unregulated news source. We still covered it, but this one was actually put out. It's on the Bureau of Prisons website at bop.gov. Excited to go through it. I did thumb through it, and I'm glad I did on this one. Usually, I go into these articles blind, and it's really a conversation between you and I. But on this one, I did thumb through it. I didn't read it in detail yet, but I did catch something, and I'm really excited because I've got it up too. So let's jump into this. I like that the Bureau of Prisons is still using its website like a blog. It has been a long time since I was on the Bureau of Prisons website. Man, this thing is looking sleek. I like it, man. I remember probably the last time I looked at the BOP website was when I was working there, and it looked like it looked like it was a like just a it was not the best, but this is an awesome website. I love this right here. But this is kind of a blog post that they posted, an update post, a news update post that they put on the BOP website, and that is BOP and FPI strengthen rehabilitation through work, supporting rehabilitation, strengthening institutions, building safer communities. And most of the people that worked for the Bureau of Prisons, what is FPI? That's UNICOR. So they're used interchangeably, FPI and UNICOR. I'm willing to bet that a lot of those people that didn't spend any time at the facility, that were administrators hired to be administrators, on paper, it's always just called FPI, but we call it UNICOR. So and the thing is, the one thing that I never got, and I really want you guys to get in the comments if this was you too. I I never understood why they were treated separately. Like I get that Unicor FPI has to like they have to make enough money to pay for their own salaries. They don't get any money from us. And so that's their justification for most of the time when you talk to their administrators, they say, well, that's why we have to cut our own paycheck. But you're still using BOP facilities, and as far as I know, you're using them for free. You're part of the BOP. Like I've never understood this conversation why it's talked about separately, like it's a separate entity within the Bureau of Prisons. It's got an asterisk next to it. I'll give it that, but it's just part of the Bureau of Prisons. If you disagree with that, if there's a justification for it, let me know in the comments. But let's jump into it. A big fan of it no matter what, and a big fan of something that I just found too. You'll see that in a minute, so stick around. But FPI, also known as Unicor, guess it's like the ancient antiquity when everybody had two or three names, continues to play a vital role in supporting the Federal Bureau of Prisons mission by providing meaningful work and skill building opportunities for incarcerated individuals. For more than 90 years, Unicor has helped people develop practical experience, confidence, and a sense of purpose. These tools contribute to safer institutions and more successful reentry. And completely agree with that statement. At all the facilities that I worked, there was a version of Unicor. In case you didn't know, some of the Unicor facilities, they all have different missions. They all do different things for the most part. And you're going to learn a lot more about that today, hopefully here in a few minutes if you stick around. But I always liked going through there because I do see the programs, how they teach. It's just like working in a factory for most of them. And that's what a lot of these guys or girls, when they get out of federal prison, are going to be doing. They're going to be working entry-level jobs, factory, warehouse, and stuff like that. And they're leaving the prison industry with that experience. And with that experience, they can go get a job if somebody's willing to hire them. That'll keep them off the streets. That will keep them from committing crimes. Absolutely love Unicor's mission. So across the country, Unicor operations demonstrate how structured work programs can change lives. From furniture craftsmanship and precision manufacturing to printing, metal services, vehicle remanufacturing, textiles, signage, and license plate production, each factory reflects professionalism, discipline, and pride. These operations are more than production lines. These are pathways to rehabilitation and stronger communities. Well written paragraph, but yeah, totally agree. Okay, strengthening the BOP FPI partnership. And this is what I'm talking about. FPI was created by the BOP. It's not a partnership. Like this is the thing that I just don't get about it. is that why is it talked about separately? It's part of the Bureau of Prisons. Like, and maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, correct me on it. I'm fine being wrong on that one. It's just I don't understand why they're always talked about separately, like it's a partnership. No, it's just part of the BOP. It just has to pay for itself. You know, FPI UNICOR has to make enough money to pay for itself. That's the only difference. FPI and the Bureau of Prisons operate as a team, working together to promote rehabilitation, institutional safety, and public safety. UNICOR's work programs support BOP's broader mission by helping individuals build skills that reduce misconduct. Yep, inside facilities and improve outcomes upon release. In turn, BOP's operational needs help shape UNICOR's product lines, training opportunities, long-term planning. And one of the things benefits, and it might be, they might mention it later on in the article, one of the benefits for inmates is that you can get paid a little bit more for working in UNICOR. So if you can work a little bit more, that means it's a highly sought after inmate job, which means it's promoting good behavior because they're not going to let you into those high paying jobs if you have a disciplinary history, right? So just the mission of just the fact that UNICOR exists makes safer prisons. Okay. Now there's always a trade-off. Okay. What's the trade-off if we're having something that really promotes a safer work environment by eliminating idle inmates and giving them something to do? What's the trade-off? We got a whole ton of contraband and not even intentionally in UNICOR, right? Um, like, there's different ones that have done, breakdowns of equipment and parts and electronics and stuff like that. And a lot of stuff, unfortunately, has come through, and a lot of stuff that might not necessarily on the street be something dangerous, but when it comes in, like, sometimes printers have these long metal rods that have a sharpened end, which, okay, it's necessary for the equipment on the streets. In prison, that's a weapon. Okay. And I still remember I had to defend myself against an inmate once that had a metal, uh, a piece of metal that was about that long that came out of a printer that was sharpened to like needle point on one end. It was already sharpened inside of that. He further sharpened it later on, but it came pretty sharp out of the thing. He just had to kind of fine tune it a little bit. And I'll tell you what ended up happening was I was patting down the inmate, and I felt it. And then as soon as I felt it, because it was so large, he felt like he knew that he reached for it. I was able to put him on the ground, secure him, and get him locked up. But a lot of contraband can come in through this type of stuff. So this is where I'm not going to say how it's scanned. I'm not going to say how it's checked in, how that material makes it into the prison. I was part of that system. I was, for a short time, I was the guy that would have to go through UNICOR shipment loads. It didn't work for UNICOR. That's still a Bureau of Prisons operation. And just you find a lot of contraband, but that's the trade-off. UNICORs are excellent for the mission of that prison, but there's a trade-off is that there's going to be a little bit more contraband that we introduce ourselves pretty much because we're bringing it in, we're shipping it in. So BOP director and FPI commissioner William, see, and what I'm talking about. So he's the BOP director and he's also the head. He's in charge of the Bureau of Prisons. I get he's also the CEO of his company because he's got to file, paperwork and all that stuff. Isn't it confusing talking about them separately when they're really the same thing when you look at them? Director Marshall has emphasized this partnership since the beginning of his tenure. Shortly after his appointment, he visited several institutions and UNICOR factories to see firsthand how work programs support rehabilitation and institutional safety. His participation in the FPI Leadership Summit last October further underscored the importance of aligning UNICOR's programs with the BOP's operational priorities and reentry goals. The engagement continues to guide collaborative efforts across both organizations. Now, I will say this, okay? As much as I love UNICOR, okay? This right here, aligning UNICOR's programs with BOP operational priorities, if that's not the number one priority, then UNICOR needs to go away, okay? If the BOP operational priorities are not priority, then just shut UNICOR down because then it's a danger, okay? Yeah, the staff safety, inmate safety, public safety will always come first. And if UNICOR isn't getting in alignment with that, then they just need to go away. Okay, it'd be nice to have that extra money and extra funding and all that stuff, but if people are going to get hurt or killed because they didn't want to have the same focus, then go away. Recent initiatives reflect this shared commitment. New purchasing agreements expand access to essential items used across the agency, reinforcing UNICORN's role as a reliable, mission-driven supplier. The launch of BOP-specific online store further streamlines ordering, strengthens coordination between institutions and FPI. Staff across both organizations continue to collaborate on new products, process improvements, and opportunities to support safer institutions and stronger futures. One of the things I always thought, and I remember the blowback for saying this, is that I always thought that inmates should make our uniforms. And I would hear officers say, "Oh, I'm not going to wear a uniform made by an inmate." I mean, do you know who made that uniform now? I mean, they all came, they were, I'm going to be real, I don't think any of the BOP uniforms were actually like sewn or made in America. They're probably made in some sweatshops because that's how all textiles and clothing are made. There's very few clothing factories in the United States. It all comes from abroad. Okay. Um, I just thought it would be a good kind of internal consumption, good way to have some type of profitability within where we could buy uniforms. If there's rules against that, I don't know. I never really looked into it, and I'm probably not going to. But I always thought that making our uniforms or making boots or something that would benefit the staff would be there. But I just don't think I've ever seen that. Let me know in the comments if that exists today, but I don't think it does. Looking ahead, Industry Day 2026. FPI UNICOR will host an Industry Day on Wednesday, April 22nd at Main Justice. The event will showcase UNICOR's capabilities, highlight innovative products and services, and provide an opportunity for DOJ components partners to learn about more how UNICOR supports public safety and reentry. Director Marshall is expected to attend, underscoring the importance of this work and continued partnership between the BOP and the FPI. Exhibits, demonstrations, and engagement opportunities will help strengthen interagency collaboration and awareness of UNICOR's mission. That's awesome. It is another avenue of getting the BOP name out there in people's ears so they can pay attention to it. As UNICOR continues to grow and evolve, its impact remains clear. Every skill learned, every product produced, and every opportunity offered contributes to safer institutions and stronger futures. Together, the BOP and UNICOR are advancing a mission rooted in beliefs as much as possible. And so, one of the things I wanted to jump onto is they have the UNICOR website. Okay, I have never been on this. I don't know how long this has existed. It looks like it's been around for a while. I just never did. So there's FBOP store. So UNICOR, look at that. I'm just going to say I spoke that into existence. All right. Um, who remembers those glasses? Okay. I'm going to call those BCGs. Those glasses are called BCGs. If you know what BCGs are, let me know in the comments. Okay, so let's talk about the internal consumption stuff because now I'm fascinated because this is not something I remember seeing when I worked for the Bureau of Prisons. So we got inmate clothing, which that's not the inmate uniform anymore, is it? Correctional facilities, equipment, supplies, inmate personal hygiene, mattresses, and bedding. I'm surprised I didn't think about that, but that's a super important one right there. Them making the mattresses and the bedding, staff uniforms. Let's see this. So staff BDUs, duty belts, body armor, gloves, screen printing. We doing custom T-shirts over there? And it's not loading. Live TV. All right. Food and food service, calendars, planners, targets. So when I was in the Bureau of Prisons, every year, and this was free as far as I remember, every year they gave you the planner for the year. It was a pocket planner, and everybody had their pocket planner. So most people, what they did was they took their name tag. We used to have name tags that would drop onto our pocket. Most people put it on top of their planner and would just put their planner in their pocket. And it got me in the habit of using planners. Awards, tables. That's awesome. Good. Okay. I'm glad that they're creating their own stuff, but let's go back to shopping and see what else we have here. So, shop other federal stores, license plate store, U.S. Marshal store, U.S. Air Force store. That is awesome. That is awesome. Agribusiness. Let's see what this is. Quality, affordable, farm fresh. Okay, so yeah, UNICOR does have some farm locations. I have never seen one. I would love to travel to see one. Just to see exactly what that is. But there's a broccoli farm. That's awesome. Farming, and on top of that, cheap labor. I mean, that's good for everybody. You got somebody learning farming, which we're always going to need farmers. Uh, Bath hygiene. You know what? We can segue here too. Let's look at some inmate bath and hygiene stuff. Let's see what they've got here that the general public. So you see a lot of this kind of most of the time you're going to most of the, I just remembered a funny joke. Okay, sanitary pads. Okay, having to use them is not fun. Okay, but this circumstance was very funny. Is uh, working with a guy. I think I'm a lieutenant. I'm acting as a lieutenant that night, and we have an officer. I won't say who it is. And if he sees this, I think he watches these. If he sees this, I think he'll get a laugh out of this. That I remember this. So he's working one of the female units, male officer working some of the female units, and one of the female inmates comes in and asks him, "Can I please get a sanitary napkin?" And the officer had never heard that term before. Okay, he had never heard the term sanitary napkin, and I'm going to tell you right now, up until this day, I had never heard that term. So all I know, I get involved in this situation very late. Okay, so it gets resolved almost by the time that I get there, and the guy, so I arrive, and I'm like, what was the problem? What was going on? So I guess an inmate was upset. She was asking for a sanitary napkin from the officer. The officer was like, I don't know what that is, and she just kept saying, give me a sanitary napkin. You're supposed to give me one. And the officer looks at me and he goes, hey, Pino, if I asked you for a sanitary napkin, what would you think that is? And I told him, I was like, I think it'd be one of those cleaning wipes, wouldn't it? And he goes, that's what I was thinking. We don't give those out. And she goes, and the girl goes, it's a pad. And the officer goes, you could have told me this 15 minutes ago. And he reaches into his drawer and hands her a pad. Like, I thought it was sanitary napkin. At least they call them sanitary pads now. Okay. Shampoo, shave, and shower all in one. That sounds like dry skin right there. And then the mini toothbrushes. Oh man, I remember those toothbrushes and Fresh Mint and Bob Barker soap. Wow, that is still there. This is the inmates clean yourself stuff right here. Shampoo and body wash, hand lotion, deodorants. Okay, that's pretty good. That's bath and hygiene down split. This is fascinating to me. I want to see some of this stuff. Okay, shower curtains, sanitary pads, toothbrush. Okay, there's not too much there. Okay, let's go back. Let's see. So we did the agribusiness, we did electronics and components, lighting and power catalog, cable assembly. So there's a lot of those factories where they do electronics breaking down, where they're breaking down and selling product in bulk. And I think it's really good. I mean, if you're in the electronics industry, like this is not sponsored. Like I don't get any money for doing this. I probably never will. Okay, for doing the BOP videos. But if they will allow you to buy some of your electronics, if you're in some type of electronics technical job where you need actual like physical wiring and electronics components and stuff, I would highly recommend going through UNICOR. I think you'd save a lot of money getting product there. It's probably cheaper than Amazon buying bulk too. Eyewear, optics. Let's look at the BCGs, clear gray, clear lenses, sport goggles. Let's see the sport goggles. Okay. Is there anyone watching this that would call those sports goggles or sports style goggles? I'd call those safety goggles, but those are right here. They look exactly the same. I know they're a little different. They're a little different, but not a lot of different. And industry face shield, office furniture. I want to see the office furniture. Let's take a look at this. Office furniture homepage. Lounge. Wow. Lounge seating, office seating, um, tables, Harmony. Heck, I might buy some stuff from them when I refurnish this. I'm in an office right now, and this is just a faux wall right here. And then we've got more storage behind it, and we're going to get rid of that and turn this into a much bigger space. Just for you, just so you could see more stuff behind me than just my BOP phone that I got right here. Courtroom stuff. That's cool. I wonder if I can buy courtroom stuff. What courtroom stuff do they have? A judge's bench. I mean, it would make a killer like office desk, wouldn't it? You know, you're just like sitting up in the air. It'd be like Megadesk from The Office, right? Just buy Megadesk. I'm if you subscribe and you watch my reels, this this is going to be a reel today. All right, let's go back before I spend too much money on this website. That would be a fun challenge. You know, spending $1,000 on the Unicore website, that'd be fun. But we need to get to 1,000 subscribers first. All right. Calendars, planners, targets, signage, all that stuff. I'm not going to spend too much time going through it, but that's awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm glad that that is there. I'm glad that that exists. Um, just a really good article reminding people about BOP, FPI, Unicore that apparently are separate things, but if you ask anybody who works for the BOP, they're just kind of like a department that works there. So, but I'm glad you guys stuck around. Thanks. It's a little bit funner than yesterday's article, right? Go check that one out. That'll pop up here, over there, if you want. As always, folks, I appreciate if you hear my voice. If you have any TSP questions, call me. My phone number will flash on the screen at the end. That's my office number. You can call it any time. Don't call me at 1 in the morning. Okay? Call me during office hours. Come on now, right? Call me at 10 a.m. There you go. If you're seeing this and you want to call me at 10 a.m. your time. We'll be fine, right? But if you have any TSP questions, you can call me, and then make sure you like and subscribe. Liking helps the algorithm. Subscribing, make sure you get notified of future videos. Leaving a comment just makes my heart happy, and and that's a good thing, folks. I like having a happy heart. So I'm in a great mood today. Got a lot of great stuff happening this week. I'm not giving a vlog update on that though. But thanks for sticking around. If you're hearing my voice, appreciate you. You know what to do. And see you next time. BOP hits the headlines.